Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us on our regular live show we do every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern. We take your general immigration, U.S. immigration questions, answer them to the extent I can. I don't handle every type of case, but probably the ones you're going to ask about we do. And we just give general education kind of stuff, give you some guidance on just generally what's going on because the immigration system is so confusing and it changes almost every day. I was doing another podcast with a colleague, it's a professional law firm podcast, but there's some changes, potentially lawsuits, and I go to the Supreme Court every year, essentially, potentially a decision next week that could like massively change immigration how it is, depending on what the justices say. It is just a wild time to be alive when it comes to this stuff, and a lot of opportunity too. The change is always not always good. Change could be good. Anything could be good or bad. It just depends on how you handle it. And so we got a lot of opportunity to do a lot of good in the coming years, regardless of the situations. We just pray to God to give us the power and peace and strength to do that. So what I could do in the meantime is help you all out by taking your questions live here on TikTok. We got other much YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and TikTok. If you really want your questions answered, best place to go is to the YouTube page because there we have the most amount of like just easy access answer stuff. I think something's glitchy going on. I usually have 1,000 questions by now. So it might be my technology is being a little slow, but so we'll give you some time to all catch up. And let me jump to Instagram. Daryl says, why does it take so long for RFEs and Noid? They just backed up and they got a lot of work to do, really. But that's probably what it is. But they are backed up and it creates a lot. It's very annoying because you expect, okay, I did an RFE response. Why is it taking, 6 months? I sent in my medical checkup. Why is it taking 9 months to get like the case approved? And that happens. And the clients get really frustrated. Like we have one client, like, let's sue them. Let's do this. I'm like, just wait another week. And within a week, he got the green card. But I understand it's frustrating. But that's what we're here for. I'm like, okay, you don't need to sue him, nothing. Like, don't spend this money. You don't need to spend this time on it. Everything's gonna work out. Just be cool. And it worked out. Now I can't say it's always the case, but I just knew from that case what was going on, how much time we spent on it was okay. And clients get nervous. That's what we're here to do to help them better understand, like, hey, what's going on with these kind of things. So having said all that, let's take some more questions. Now, one note, I did a TikTok on this earlier today. Melvin follows, hey, John, NBC is yet to get an interview day. What could we do? It depends on your case and if it's current or not, and if there's a reason to get urgent. But the NBC doesn't give an interview date. Your specific U.S. embassy that you're going to interview at does that. And it depends on their availability and how backed up they are. And some countries are like 2-3 years backed up, and depending on your case, even more. So unless you file a lawsuit or have a good reason for an expedite or something, that's what we're going to talk about. We did an expedite today. We have it approved. It was a parent of a married U.S. citizen parent of a married foreigner. So that's an F3 preference category. Just to get the case to green card stage, it takes more than 10 years for that one. I think that they're doing January 2010 cases are current based on the visa bulletin right now. And for these kind of cases, the embassy this person would go to is taking 2 years to schedule appointments. So that it's just too long. So the petitioner here is elderly, sick. They may pass away if the case doesn't get approved soon. So we sent that information to a national visa center who forwarded us to the embassy they're interviewing in. Embassy approved it. We got notification that expedite interview has been approved. We're still waiting for the exact date of it. It's probably going to be in a couple weeks. But it's possible. It depends on the facts and what the reason is. You got to have a reason why you need to expedite, and that's so they know about that ahead of time. Okay, I can't post comments at some destination. We're having some errors. Facebook profiles can't say, okay. Usually have so many questions. What's going on today? All right, so Shivangi asks, do you know how much time U.S. consulates in India are taking to schedule an IR1 interview? What's really weird? We do a lot of Indian IR1 interviews. I have like 5 Indian cases where we're stuck at consular processing because they either need birth certificate documents, which they've been like pending for months, and even I have a couple Indian marriage cases that are waiting more than over a year. Because we either need police certificates or they need the non-availability certificate for their marriage. And sometimes they want something they don't at the embassies all over the place. But so I have a bunch of cases like that. They're all at the NBC stage. They've piled up there because coincidentally, I got several clients who had like paper issues that it's really easy. It's not really easy to get, but it's easy enough to get, but it just stalled. Daryl says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Bedazzled asks, if my I-485, that's an application for adjustment of status, was denied on April 2nd and I filed an appeal on April 30th, would my EAD still be actively worked on or revoked? So an appeal does not create status. It does not create a period of authorized stay, or it does not permit a work permit to be unrevoked or something like that. Now, in the denial notice for the I-485, if they want to restrict and take away or void your EAD, they have to specifically say it in the notice. Sometimes they forget to do it. So if they didn't mention that your I-765 was revoked, they should probably do nowadays because they fix their templates. But if they didn't say that, these are the tricks lawyers know. It's not a trick. It's the mistake on their part when we do it. Then you could use your work permit. It's okay. But if they did specifically mention that your work authorization is no longer valid, filing an appeal will not do anything. Many times it's filing an appeal is like worthless because it's just going to take so long. You might just need to refile. So like it depends on the reason why you applied for a green card. Was it marriage to a U.S. citizen, to a green card holder, employment? But if, for example, you're married to a U.S. citizen, sometimes refiling is better, but we need to see what the reason for denial was and all that too. That's a big problem, part of it. Shivangi asks, I'm DQ'd already, just waiting for interview. 6 to 12 to 24 months, but it's getting faster. You're welcome, Shivangi. X-Frame says, can I request an expedite on my work permit extension receipt? I need to pay rent bills. Can I request an expedite on my work permit extension receipt? I mean, the extension should take a week or two. So I'm not, there's no expediting it. I mean, what you could technically do, we don't really do it for really once I've done in my career, is when we send out the application for like a work permit, we include a self-addressed like FedEx next day envelope for them to put the receipt in that to send it to us, and that will get it faster. So again, these are technical things lawyers do. You're probably going to get it soon. If not, if you haven't gotten it, it's been 30 days, contact USCIS. Bedazzle chat, they did say 15 days. So Bedazzle, what was your previous other question answering? They did say 15 days. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Joe says, spinal cord surgery. Is that good reason to expedite? I need help with my walking. So I had another client who had back surgery, like hardcore back surgery. He couldn't walk for 3 weeks. And his wife overseas is actually like a doctor. And so he said, she's a doctor. His back he can't move. It's affecting him. He's in pain, all that kind of stuff. And it depends on the embassy and luck. They denied that expedite. But who knows? You fire somebody, that person may have spinal cord surgery history in themselves or family. They might feel bad for you and they might do it. So all this stuff is possible. A quick note on those asking questions on TikTok. We give priority to YouTube questions, JK Law YouTube page, immigration YouTube page on YouTube. And then secondarily, Instagram, because on TikTok, it's hard keeping track of all the questions. So we appreciate your coming and ask questions here. We're going to go through them too. But if you really want to urgent, go to the YouTube page, subscribe there. It's just people ask like the million of the same questions. The same person asks the same question 50 times on TikTok. It's hard to figure out what's going on. So we give priority to the other ones first, and then we get to there. Melvin says, thanks, John. The visa class IR1 spouse visa. Meanwhile, can we expedite? Melvin, you got to talk to private attorney to see what we can expedite your case, but that's the way to go. Paranoid Humanoid says, are there any special paths to permanent residency for Australians like Aussies do the E3 work visa? It's the same paths they would have had without the E3 visa. The E3 visa is a special work authorization. They come. But if you want green cards, just the same for everybody else. Daniel says, is security travel with I-75? I think you're saying, is it safe to travel with I-75 on extension letter? I can't say something safe or not. It's like if you need to travel and your case is clean and you got a clean background, then you got to judge whether it's worth it. But I can't say something safe or not in the future. It's just too many variables. Jen says, how I do? I'm doing good. Jen, I have a quick question. Do you know how long it takes after submitting the DS-260 that biometrics and medicals are scheduled? You're kind of mixing things up, but not only have to submit a form DS-260 if you're doing consular processing, you have to submit the affidavit of support and the civil documents. Once you submit that, you got to wait for the National Visa Center to documentarily qualify your case. I have this all in my guide. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. The guide is a 40-plus page guide about marriage immigration, but the consular processing, large chunks of it are same for any case. I just label as that and add the marriage part. So that'll help you out. So once you get documentarily qualified by the National Visa Center, then you got to wait for your embassy to schedule an interview. Some embassies will do it in 30 days. Some will take 4 years. So that's that. And once your appointment is scheduled, then you do a medical exam. Most countries, you will do the biometrics at the embassies. Some countries that are really busy, like Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, they have a separate date for biometrics and a separate date for the interview. And they may have you come back a second day too, after another day after that. It's kind of intensive kind of process, but all this depends on the embassy you're dealing with, and it's just our experience and practice and learning all this stuff. Sean says, my VAWA I-130 is approved. What is next? I don't handle VAWA cases in my office, so schedule consultation is best. Life with this ask, what are the timeframes for marriage-based green card in Park, Florida? It could be 3 months. It could be forever. So that's that. No time frame queries. Thanks. Sudar says, hey, John, good evening. I have one question. USCIS approved my I-485 65 days ago, but I didn't get an email from the NBC. I have times required my case list saying something in the NBC. What I do? Contact the NVC. They have a special for that. Keep calling USCIS every 30 days. This happens with the I-824, which is when you ask USCIS to send a case out to the embassy, you have to file this I-824 form. It's a horrible process. I pray no one ever has to do it, but people get stuck with it. Even when it's approved, which could take over a year to get approved many times, USCIS forgets about it. So once it's approved, you got to call every 30 days to keep nudging them along until they finally send it. If they don't, sometimes they'll send it quick. Sometimes it takes forever. Sandra says, is there a possibility for a deportee to come back after 10 years? Deportation was DUI. That's case specific. You got to analyze the whole case. Can't do that here. James says, can a Canadian that has traveled to Cuba in the past have problems getting a green card if asked? Can they? Yeah, anything's possible. I can't speak generics. I don't know what were you doing in Cuba? Did you break the rules when you went there? What are when you have the ability to do an interview and they issue a DS-35 or they ask about travel history? What are the rules then? Because right now Biden might have one rule. Trump might come in 9 months and say, "Oh, you went to Cuba, you're banned from coming." So we just got to deal with things as they are. And right now, I don't know enough details of what your life experience is, what you've done, and what valid ways you entered Cuba, what was going on. So I can't really answer that. I don't handle too much Cuba stuff in general. I'm in Los Angeles. Florida attorneys handle a lot of Cuban stuff, so they'll probably know that better, frankly, than I do. My goal is always get the best information out, and if our firm is not going to provide it, then I'll say that. For like Cuban specific thing, go to a firm in Florida, JK law firm. If you're Cuban and you're married or U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter. But if you're Cuban and you're doing some like different kind of things in general or travel there, they would know better than I would. Jen says, done with the forms already, and thank you so much. You're welcome, Jen. Life Miss Brown says, my friend submitted both her and her underage daughter last November 2023. The daughter got her green card last month, and she didn't get her just to work from him. Well, that's USCIS for you. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Can I hire you on BAM? Yeah, we can be hired. Expedite request, Daryl, Barbie, the real Barbie. It's up to you. So we could work on it, but you got to repair. We don't know what's going to happen. So it might be a waste of time and money, but if you want to give it a shot, yeah, you can hire us. All the stuff's done by online and mailing. Just contact the office first. You have to have a consultation session with you. It's a paid consultation, and then we take it from there. jqqlaw.com/contact is the place to go. jqqlaw.com/contact is the place to go. Lifeless Browns, did you enjoy law school? Parts of it and not other parts of it. So there was a lot of growth and personal learning. It was worth it, but generally, it could have been a year and a half. It didn't need to be 3 years. Sandra says, thank you, answer. You're welcome. Clayton says, hello, I submitted my I-130 petition more than a month ago. When should I expect a response for your site? You should be a response within a receipt within 30 days. Then who knows how long it'll take after that. All right, let's go back and go to TikTok now. Puneet says, my wife and sister applied for green card. Both Tishka, okay, both got approved. How long? I don't know if it's your case. All right, so I'm gonna have to stop. Start skipping the how long cases, but I think about doing EB1C visa. Do you help with those? We do if it's a clean case, and not clean, but it's like it has got to be a good case. So we have to do a consultation session, analyze your business first and stuff. So schedule a time, jqqlaw.com/contact. There are consultation fees for this, and EB1Cs are complex, so it might be multiple consultations. Sandra says, is there a possibility? Or we already answered that. Okay, what is the time frame? Oh, we don't know that. Thank you everybody though who on TikTok went to YouTube ask questions. No wonder, yeah, because we're getting a lot of repeats from there. My husband got approval, but has been waiting for interview for 5 months. So you haven't gotten approval yet. If you haven't an interview, so nothing's been approved yet. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what stage or what's going on with the case. I can help more on that. Can I get detained during I-130 interview if I'm removal for 20 years? It's possible. Anything's possible. Salvador says, well, I have an issue renewing my residency if I have a misdemeanor battery charge. We got to read what the statute is. We got to read the court records is. I can't answer that answer here. J. Rod says, can a non-citizen request a FOIA from U.S. Department of State? Yes, anyone can request a FOIA. They call it a different thing. They don't call it a FOIA. They call it like a Records Act request or something like that, but it's essentially the same thing. I'm not a FOIA expert. We do FOIAs, but I remember that in you filling it out, there's like different boxes for like if you're a U.S. person or not or something like that. They're changing all the forms for these FOIA, so like they look different every 6 months, frankly. I had my valid green card. I don't know. When it comes to timelines, how long things will happen, I can't help you with that. For I-130, is it better to spouse be in their own country or the USA? I mean, depends on what your personal life needs. But, if they're here lawfully and they didn't intend to, but then they change their mind to do adjustment of status, and if it's possible, it's probably better because it's going to be overall faster. But, it depends on your personal circumstances. It's like 10 different factors of your personal life and what you want to do in the next 10 years you got to think about. Mehmet asks, I-130 approved 4 months ago. I-4I still pending for marriage. Just got to wait. Irvin says visa F11. Do you mean like a EB18 or I'm not sure what you mean. Family 11. That's adult child U.S. citizen, single child U.S. citizen. I'm not sure what you mean. James says, I traveled to 50 countries the past 15 years. I'm scared of getting a DS50. It is what it is. It's not a likely or not. You may get it or not, 50-50. And so that's that. If they ask you, got to tell the truth, even though they didn't stamp your passport or something like that. Diorn says, income increase after being documented qualified. Do I still need a sponsor for MVC? Yeah, the U.S. You need, if you have a family case, you need a U.S. sponsor. Friend married, undocumented, illegal entry, been here for 2 years. Can he get citizenship? Well, you got to get a green card first. And because it's undocumented, if he doesn't have sort of lawful entry, then you have to get a waiver and consular processing. So there's a lot to think about. You need to consult with our contact us, jqklaw.com/contact for your friends to sit and talk about this because that's a complex case. Stephanie says, just some hope for everyone. My friend's hubby got his work permit in 1 month of filing. It's true, they are getting these. Thank you for sharing that, Stephanie. Some of them come out really quickly. But sometimes take 9 months. So it is what it is. And if you didn't get yours in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's just random. XF says, so I have to contact the USCIS field office if I receive my EAD extension receipt. No, if you got the receipt, that's an automatic extension if you're in one of the categories that it applies for. So that's that. Can I do the AOS now or do I have to wait? I don't know, Lauren. I don't know the case details that you have, so I can't tell you that to tell you do something that's so big, like filing a big immigration form. Okay, let's go back to YouTube and TikTok. Kassan says, please, can you tell me my case dismissed at criminal court? Any problems with my green card process? I needed to see what the dismissal was about, what was accused, what was in the police record, what your history is. I can't tell you. Diormi says, income increase, or answer that. Jamie says, when getting your travel document, you receive a card or a piece of paper. It depends on what kind of travel document you're getting. If you're getting a reentry permit, it's a booklet. If you're getting advanced parole, it could be a card on the card with work permit, or it could be a piece of paper that has like a parole on it. If you're getting a refugee travel document, that's also a passport. So when you say travel document, what are you trying to get? It's not enough. It's not specific enough for me. No. Jesus says, Lord asked, my interview was done last month. After the first one was denied last year due to divorce decree. You got to talk to the attorney private. Those are complex. Mom says, my husband doesn't have work last 3 years, taxes. He only has the latest one. Is it okay? I got to see what his job is and get a joint sponsor. I can't tell you that based on the information provided. James says, should I renew my passport before my interview or without raising a lot of flags? I can't tell you what to do, James, because I don't know anything about you, but like, live your life. That's generally my process. Live your life, and it is what it is. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. I don't know what to tell you. I can't give you this kind of guidance over a live show where I don't know anything about you other than a pseudonym you may have put online. Any scholarship or immigrants or financial? I don't know about scholarships. How long are I-130 spouses cases taking now? I-130 spouses average taking 12, 13 months for the USCIS portion if you're doing standalone. Afghan says I applied for asylum in court, but the clock's not showing system. We don't do asylum law or court work, so I can't help you on that. Dorman says, no, I meet the guidelines. Do I still need a joint sponsor as a petitioner? If you satisfy now, you can potentially withdraw the ones, but I got to see their paperwork and before I could give you the answer. Yusha says, how long can I travel documents after? How long can I get my travel document after application? I don't know. No one knows. No one knows. I should say, because it's not like I don't know. It's just no one knows. Jeffrey says, my wife that is here on a green card expires 2034. We're trying to bring her mom for a month, but and then next questions. I can't help you with that. I just gotta, you try again. If it denied, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Okay. Chop Justice. So I did my marriage-based interview March 19th. They approved my travel doc, not the green card. Why? Because they approve your travel document, your green card is still pending. Different documents, different background checks, different whole things that are happening. Please, if your wife divorces, you can still get a green card. It depends on the facts. Was there abuse? Did you already have a case pending, or what's going on? Mama says, so my husband only have this year's tax. Is that okay? I can't answer that. I don't know what your husband's taxes are, or what kind of work he does. Is it W-2 income or 1099 income? How consistently has he been employed? Is it believable that he's going to continue this income? It's at the end of the day in the discretion of the officer you're dealing with. So there's only so much we can do. Anna says, hey, how long to get an interview visible? I can't tell you how long someone's going to take for an interview. I mailed my PR to USCIS. It's been a month. I have no response from them. I have no idea if they received it. We should have got a receipt if you paid. I'm not sure what you did. You could have got text messages back too. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Easy says, I filed my I-130 by mail, but my receipt is IOE. Is that a good thing? All receipts for I-130 is going to be IOE. So it's not a good or bad thing. Deep Singh says, ASA green card holder can travel to home country. That's up to you if you want to risk it. I can't recommend someone do that. Lita says, submitted DS-26 on March 24th. How long is the wait for embassy interview? U.S. citizen. It depends on the embassy and your luck. All right, so we're getting a lot of timetable questions. So that's my cue to start cutting the session short, because it means like people don't have substantive questions. I can't. No one knows how long a case is going to take. Okay, more timeline questions. A lot of timeline questions. Okay, okay. So I don't want to end the show early. So come on, people, give me some good questions. That's helpful for everybody. Let's go to Instagram. Okay, not Instagram questions. Let's go to YouTube. Okay, let's go to TikTok. What happens if N400 under 3-year rule gets denied? Well, it depends on what the denial is for. If they denied you because you committed fraud, then you're back. You're a bad situation. But what happens if it was a mistaken denial? You appeal it. If you didn't have enough physical presence, you wait and you do it again. So just saying something got denied, it doesn't give me enough information about the answer. And if you got denied, you should immediately talk with a lawyer in private. Let's see. Eagle says, I applied for my wife citizen, U.S. citizen. They're not giving us interview. How can we get it? I don't know. Jen says, I want 30 estimated time. Yes, the timeline. So the reality is there's no estimated timelines, even if the government says it on their websites. There's nothing reliable. If it's just taking a lot for that type of case, which there's so many subtypes of cases I what is here is a feeling for, because I just see this stuff all day, but they're too minute detail to even explain here. Then you can maybe file a lawsuit for delay, but most people don't want to file a lawsuit. They're afraid, or they don't want to spend the money on it. So like, and that's probably 99% of the people, but both those factors stop them from doing that. And sometimes it's not warranted. You just wait longer. So having had that, the reality, unless you got the money to sue or you have the courage to do whatever, timelines is nothing you do. You just got to sit and wait. Thank you, Paranoid Humanoid, for explaining that. But we got a lot of timeline questions on TikTok. I got to fortunately ban somebody. Oh, I went all good dark color. What happened? Sorry, TikTok. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. TikTok's features when you're doing live is just like, it's a mess to try to figure out what's going on. But unfortunately, someone keeps asking the same question a million times, and it's letting other people not answer that question. So it's a rude thing, so frankly. So please don't do that. Misty says, someone employed remotely at a U.S. company, can they continue working if they come U.S. K1? It will be considered unauthorized employment. So they usually don't hold it against you, but it could be if the officers want to, they could. So that's the short answer for it. Okay, we got some BIA appeal asylum stuff, Robbie. We do not handle those cases. So I recommend consulting a firm that does asylum or court cases. It's the best way to do it. Let's check out Instagram. I think I got a good question over there. Mala says, if I have a refugee case and I've received approval by USCIS, we don't handle refugee cases. No, most immigration lawyers don't handle. They handle asylum cases, but not refugee cases. Refugee is when someone's overseas and they're coming, and they don't really have like a U.S. court system for that. That's for like this thing. But if you're doing the U.S., then you can go immigration court or something. You can do that with the attorney. Does C9 EAD fall under automatic extension? I don't. C9, yeah, like that's adjustment of status extension. But just go to EAD automatic extension, and don't quote me. I could be wrong. Just look it up yourself. It's on the website. It lists the different kinds of cases that could be considered part of the automatic extension. And it says like here, C9 is pending. That's a base. C9 is when you're filing for a green card based on INA section 245. So this is most employment-based cases and most family-based, if not all. Unless I think asylum is a different category or stuff, but C9 is, that's a category where you could get an automatic extension if you file a timely filed EAD request, and that receipt notice will actively cover you as it goes forward. Partosh says, my parents are U.S. citizens. If they file my case on F1 category, they can apply for work authorization. No. Your parents filing for your case is just to say you're really your parents and you're their child. For you to be able to get work authorization, you have to be lawfully in the United States and then happen to like change your mind and file for adjustment of status, then you apply for work authorization. But that's probably not going to happen in your case. You probably go to the embassy, so it's unlikely that you're going to get work authorization based on your parents' case, unless you've been studying here on an F1 student visa and then H1B visa or something to hold you over all the years it's going to take for your case to move forward. Kimia says, hey, do you know how to move F1 visa at embassy level? If you have emergency circumstances, we could do that you could document. Dad's F1 visa petition, student visa, or what do you mean F1 category, like adult child of a U.S. citizen? Has it stayed in Dubai for a year now? Yeah, Dubai is backed up. It's not a good embassy to send people in. Unfortunately, you got to get a lawyer that does a lot of these cases and know that. I mean, as much as I'm annoyed about the questions people ask about how long it takes, is a lot of data I get, so I do appreciate it. because I see like, okay, everyone's saying this embassy, how long is it taking? That gives me information I know. So Abu Dhabi, I just know that that's not embassy. Ankara is not embassy you want to send an Iranian to. I'm assuming you're Iranian from your name. We send everyone to Yerevan. It's kind of a secret because the more people get sent there, the less chance we're going to get appointments there. But hey, if you're a good listener of the show, you hear it. You do not send an Iranian case to anywhere but Armenia right now. It could change tomorrow. But Turkey, UAE, which is Abu Dhabi embassy, Ankara embassy, for an Iranian case, that's going to be stalled 1 to 2 years. And then after the interview happens, 50 chance, if not 70% chance, they're going to put him in administrative processing of those embassies. So this is where experience and comes. If you had come to me a year ago and hired us, fortunately, I could have told you and averted some of this. But at this point, you're already waiting a year. I'm not really sure what I could do. That's where my services come in. I'm U.S. citizen applied for my parents. Yeah. So we getting parent cases approved. I mean, I have cases in Armenia, parents get stuck in administrative processing too. Like I have a lot of parent cases actually. So I had one where the husband is 6 months administrative processing. Then I issued, the wife got issued immediately. But it was Armenia. I just don't mess around with Abu Dhabi or Ankara because I know how they do it. And okay. They assigned it. We didn't have an option. So on your I-130, you request a certain location. Even if we request Armenia nowadays there, because I think Armenia's backed up, they'll still give us Abu Dhabi. So they have to contact National Visa Center and say, we can't do that. It's too expensive to go to Abu Dhabi. So, Abu Dhabi is a 5-star hotel expensive place. My clients can't go there. They have to go to Armenia, which is less expensive. So we tell them that, we switch it off. Again, this is where experience comes in, where with value of a lawyer. Obviously, you fill out the forms, DS-260, affidavit of support. You might have had bounce back, push it back until you had it approved, which added time. But that one fact right there could have saved stuff. And I'm here doing it for free telling people, but it's just having a lawyer does its best way. Experience says, I'm out in California. I tracked my application. It says delivered in Vermont. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you are. They distribute this stuff. Kimia says, so is there a way to request specific embassy at this stage with you? I'm not sure if it's worth it because if you get, let's say you move your case to Armenia, you're going to go back to the line probably. So you might have to wait 6 months or a year to get it. Abu Dhabi, if they clear up their caseload and all of a sudden they start doing fast, you're next in line. So it's at this point, it's like, I always give an example is if you're on the freeway and the lane you're going in is slow, but the lane next to you is fast. So you switch it off and go there. And then you look back and then that stops and they're going. And that's what happens. I've played this game of switching embassies at your stage. Unless you do at the beginning and stick with your decision, changing midway, just that risk of going into the wrong road. It's just terrible. And as the Iranian case, the disaster is you need to get an embassy appointment as soon as possible. And if there's administrative process, you need to get done as soon as possible because if Trump comes in January, whenever a new president is sworn in, he's going to put another, he already did it once and didn't care. So I'm assuming he's going to do it again, another travel ban for Iranians and a lot of other countries. So it's imperative that Iranian cases get documentary qualified, get their interview and hopefully get approved as fast as possible. Because at this point, if you got to be getting your interviews right now. If it goes a little bit longer, then we don't know what's going to happen. And it's hard because we have cases that are like yours are stuck and you can file a lawsuit. Maybe we don't do lawsuits, but you file a lawsuit to force it open. But these are the real serious life issues that we see popping up that we got to deal with. But thanks for bringing that up, Kimia. I wish I had better news, but yeah, this is just a hard game, this immigration stuff. It used to be much more friendly and nicer. We could fix it. I used to be able to contact the embassy, contact USCIS, fix everything up like this. Trump came, demolished everything, and then they don't have enough funding. They don't have enough people who have high job satisfaction working there at these different places. They have high turnover. And so it just makes things that I'm trying to make nice for people very, very difficult. All right, answer some last question on YouTube and we'll get it out. Parent Andrew says, do you recommend paper filing electronic? We're switching to electronic just because of the future, essentially. But paper filing it's personally, I'd rather prefer paper filing because that's what I've been doing 15 years. I know how to do that quickly. The online system is clunky and it has errors too. And if you make like a certain typo, or something like that, you got to redo things sometimes. I don't like it. James says, but it's the future. So electronic filing is what you got to do. James says, and I'm sorry, back it up. USCIS is so tricky. They're adding new online application forms. They do it online for it to be faster, quote unquote. But on some of them, they don't allow you to have a lawyer on them. So if you're going to hire a lawyer, you're forced to do it by paper. And so that's not fair right there. And we have problems where we submit the case. Okay, we're going to get a receipt faster if we do it online. And then we submit the case online and we don't get a receipt. We get a paper receipt before we get the online receipt online. So the help that it was so we can hurry up and get a receipt isn't always there. We're seeing in practice. And add to that the cases where you can't have a lawyer on. This is bureaucracy that's just getting worse. It kind of gives you an understanding of the frustrations we deal with every day because there are inconsistencies in how they operate, the government, when it comes to cases and stuff and how fast they do stuff. it holds it up where, like, I can't plan out a year ahead of time how many cases to accept, so I'm not overwhelmed, because they might be fast, so the case might get done really quick, or they might take forever, and that means we got to process this case for an extended period of time if you have a question. So it makes it really hard to do business, but hey, we do it. 29 Services, hey attorney, hope you and your staff are doing well. Thank you, 29 Services. Good to hear from you. God bless. Be safe. It's so wonderful. We have listeners here coming in 2-3 years, regular listener. And I just appreciate that, and I'm happy there's value coming in where we have it's a regular TV show. At least 10 to 15 people join that are regulars, and then add another 75 people in the live show that just catching in on different waves. So I want to thank everybody. We're at the end of the show. If you want to schedule a consultation, the first thing to do is to email to go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. She has Q with the queen in the middle, and fill out that page, and we'll let you know if you can do a consultation or something we do. Having said that, I appreciate it. God bless. Be safe. And I'll see you all next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Be safe. Bye-bye.